Hello everyone and welcome to my playthrough of LA Noire. My name's David Brown and this is my dog Beanie. Beanie, say hi. Say hi. So in this playthrough we will be playing through all of the cases of LA Noire from the patrol desk all the way to the arson desk. Now there are some fundamental ideas with how you play this game. The patrol desk is essentially your tutorial on how the game works. Each time you enter a crime scene, music will start. The music plays through until you have found all clues on the crime scene. Each time you're close to a clue, you will hear a jingle. That jingle clues you in that you're near a clue. And each clue can sometimes be examined or even further examined to give you information pertinent to your case, which allows you to go further along in the case. So a lot of clues will give you a lead on which to keep going until you find your suspect. There's a lot of mechanics like chasing and tackling suspects. If a suspect has a hostage, do you fire upon them? Those kind of things. Unlike Grand Theft Auto, this game differs in that if you damage your vehicle, if you damage city property, or if you run over a pedestrian, you can actually be penalized by doing that in some cases. So it's a polar opposite from that of Grand Theft Auto. I won't go over a lot of the basics in this playthrough. It is assumed that as you watch these videos, you will be playing through the patrol desk. You will be playing through traffic detective, homicide, advice, and arson on your own, using these videos more as a cooperative effort to get like a completionist score or even just get through the level as best as you can. So that being said, most of what you will see in the game is easy to pick up on. So let's move on to our first case in the patrol desk, and that's Upon Reflection. Upon Reflection's case is a mysterious murder and a unique pistol, which leads to our suspect. It's a very short level, which just basically goes over the mechanics of investigating.
In the Marine Corps, you deal with the chain of command. Mistakes get made, but you deal with them. You know what you're fighting for and that you're on the same team. But dealing with corruption is like chasing shadows. You never know whether the guy you're talking to is on the pad, or whether it's your partner, or maybe even the watch commander. So who do you trust, Cole? I made up my mind a long time ago.
KGPL calling caller 14 Adam. 14 Adam, come in.
Go ahead, KGPL.
14 Adam, see the detective, an ambulance shooting at 6th and Industrial Street. Unit 16 William requests uniformed assistance for an evidence search. 14 Adam, code 2.
Roger, 14 Adam en route.
Here we go again. They don't request uniforms for an evidence search unless there's some kind of catch. Ever the optimist. From the beam of sunshine himself.
Floyd Rose, homicide. You might back up?
Yes, sir. Phelps and Dunn, Wilshire Division.
We had a shooting took place down this alleyway. We have the Vic, Scooter Payton, a Negro male bagged up and on his way to Central Morgue. Witness says a tall white guy, our shooter, put two in the Vic's head and then threw his piece. I need you guys to try and recover the gat.
You want us to look anywhere in particular?
Give it your best shot, guys. The dead guy's a lowlife. I'm not expecting any miracles here.
And if we recover the weapon?
Bag it and return it to technical services.
You hurry it up, Floyd. We
I'm
got
outta
places
here.
to be.
Happy hunting.
This is a fist hump. Just going through the motions.
You're probably right. Let's just get it over and done.
All right, have it your way. We'll search right up to the back wall. If you still don't come up with anything, come find me and we'll talk it out. Two heads are always better than one.
So the very first thing you'll find is a newspaper. Newspapers are like Easter eggs here.
Look at this junk.
Newspapers are very unique in that they're sort of an Easter egg like the badges in this game. You can hunt them all down, and each one has a cutscene which plays, and that cutscene is sometimes relevant to the story of the game. Sometimes it might be relevant to the case that you're working on, but not always.
Dr. Fontaine, could I have a word?
Of course, young man.
I really enjoyed your lecture, Doctor. Psychiatry seems to have a tremendous amount to offer.
Why, thank you. I'm always happy to receive acknowledgement for my work. The mind is the last great mystery in medicine. Are you thinking of specializing, Mr.
Sheldon. Courtney Sheldon. I'm only in second year, Doctor. They fast-tracked me a year because of my experience during the war.
Ah.
That's what I wanted to talk to you about. Battle fatigue and collapse under duress. Can it be helped?
I would say yes, given the right set of circumstances. Trauma forces the mind to close down, retreat in on itself. We try to find ways to unlock the mind again through a combination of therapy and drug treatment. Hypnosis and therapy are powerful tools in the right hands, Sheldon.
I've been to visit some of the guys at the VA hospital. A good friend of mine, he's so far away. It's like he's wandering
You
around.
went through a lot together.
Yes, Doctor.
Give me his details and I'll make a prognosis. I have a number of clinics in Los Angeles, Courtney Sheldon, and your penance, for your friend's help, is to come and work at one of them in your spare time, with what little spare time a medical student has. Is that a deal?
Is it ever? I can't thank you enough.
I'm not promising a cure, Courtney. I want you to remember that. Every physician has patients that he cannot hope to cure, for whom he can only smooth the path to death.
It's not my job to pick through other people's trash.
Another thing you might notice is that your partner in each of these cases will oftentimes approach a clue, something that's relevant to the case. In this particular level, as we advance down the alleyway, there's a splatter of blood on the door. That's our first clue. And then as we head to the left of the door, there is a window tilted downward that if you look at the window, you can see the reflection of the murder weapon that the detective has you looking for.
What have you got, Phelps? Anything? Jesus. Cole, come take a look at this.
Shooter put him up against the wall and blew his brains out.
Hell of a way to go.
Doesn't really matter how you go once you're gone.
Don't get all deep on me, Phelps.
Ralph, there's something on the rooftop.
How the hell did you see that?
A reflection in the window. Looks like it might be our weapon. I'm gonna see if I can find a way up there.
All right, don't hurt yourself. The gun's up on the roof, right? So we need to find a way up.
And when you're investigating clues, you can often turn them about and look at details about them, like in this particular case, the name of the gun company, the name of the model, and the serial number. And then even more so, some clues you can also further investigate for additional information.
Smith & Wesson, serial S71893. Two rounds fired, and instead of dropping it down a drain, our shooter hoists it up here. Interesting guy.
We should follow up on this now, before the
We have the gun, Cole. Let's take it back to Central. We could get a commendation.
Could show some initiative, Ralph, and see if we can come up with an owner.
That's a long shot, Cole.
It's a pretty fancy gun. You know a local gun store?
Sure. There's a place a couple of blocks from here.
Are you sure about this? It's not really our gig. No harm in doing some digging. The suits didn't seem to give much of a damn. Such a little Boy Scout, Cole. You can't wait to get out of that uniform, can you? You'd rather round up drunks and help old ladies across the road? I'd rather get through the day without...
Now, as you progress through your case, it will unlock, the information that you'll find will sometimes unlock further locations for you to investigate. In this particular case, we don't have a suspect, and so we have to take what we have, what information we do have, and work with it. In this particular case, we have a gun model and a serial number, so we're going to go to the nearest gun store, see if that person can trace the serial number, and give us a name, or even better, a name and an address.
The captain's foot up my ass. It'll be fine, Ralph. You worry too much. Take the next right turn. Straight on here.
Straight through the next intersection. Take the next left. Go left here. Next left.
Officers Phelps and Dunn. Can you tell us anything about this gun?
Smith & Wesson, Model 27, registered Magnum. Chambered for .357, nickel-plated with pearl grips. Same gun used by General Patton.
You're not suggesting he's the owner?
No, I'm not.
You seem to know a lot about the weapon.
I ought to. I sold it. You know, this piece will stop a rhino. These babies are only available special order. Here's my Smith & Wesson order book.
You mind if I take a look?
Be my guest. This is about something bad, right?
So oftentimes when you're working with shopkeepers or individuals, they may hand you a ledger with information in it. In this particular case, he gave us a description of what the gun is made of. Nickel plated with pearl grips, you know, what type it is, 27. So
Model 27 with pearl grips, Cole. You see it on there?
You'll have, in often cases with most ledgers, you'll have names, addresses, the item, So you just kind of have to match it up with what you're looking for. And in this case, we have a 27 4-inch barrel, polished nickel, pearl grip. The only matching description belongs to Errol Schroeder.
We're in luck. Errol Schroeder, 203 South Glass Street. Ordered the gun in February 46. Thanks, you've been a big help.
Anytime. Always happy to help out the LAPD.
Do we call it in?
Let's see if he's at home. Owning the gun doesn't prove he pulled the trigger.
Okay.
In for a penny, in for a pound. Lead the way, Gunga Din. Go left just now. Next right. Turn left when you can. Take the next right.
Now that wasn't so hard, was it? Just because we're in uniform doesn't mean we can't use our initiative.
I guess so. Seems a little too good to be true. One-of-a-kind murder weapon bought locally using a real name. If Schroeder's our shooter, he's no criminal mastermind.
Most of them aren't. That's why they get caught. 2 out of every 3 crimes are done on impulse.
Another fact from the Phelps Encyclopedia of Thin Air. You really are full of it.
Now, because we're dealing with an apartment building, one thing you may have noticed when looking at the Smith & Wesson order ledger was that it had an address for Mr. Schroeder, but it didn't have an apartment number. Oftentimes when you enter an apartment building and you don't have an apartment number, or even when you do have an apartment number, you get additional credit when you finish the level for examining the mailbox anyway, regardless of whether you have an apartment number or not, because it counts as a clue. Sometimes these mailboxes are to the left or the right in the lobby as you enter the apartment. Sometimes they're right outside the apartment door. In this particular case, it's going to be on our right as we enter the apartment. Oops.
Schroeder, apartment 2.
So now that we know what apartment he's in, we can go up the stairs.
What do you guys want?
I'm Officer Cole Phelps. This is Officer Dunn, Wilshire Division. You're the owner of a Smith & Wesson Model 27, nickel-plated with pearl grips?
I might be. What of it?
Then you'll be surprised to know that Scooter Payton was murdered tonight with your gun.
You're out of your mind. Scooter? He works for me. I have that gun here in my drawer. What the fuck is going on here?
You're under arrest, Schroeder. Cuff him, Ralph.
No way. You're not taking me down for this. You ready, tough guy?
When you get into a brawl, there are certain things you can do, like blocking an attack, grappling a suspect and throwing them. In certain fights, when it gets to a point where the suspect's roughed up enough, you can actually do a finishing move to knock them out.
Huh?
Ralph, you
You all right?
I'm fine. I hardly felt it. He's lucky he caught me off guard.
Keep an eye on him, Ralph. I'm gonna take a look around.
Now, Floyd Rose's name is important because he is the homicide investigator that we met at the beginning of the level, which told us to find the GAT, or pistol.
List of names and a series of numbers.
Floyd Rose's name is in this book.
Now, the importance here is Floyd Rose's name being in this book suggests that Floyd Rose might be taking payoffs or kickbacks.
Phelps, we can come out of this all bright and shiny with a commendation. Or stick our schlongs in a hornet's nest. Call it in, partner. And leave the book where you found it.
Officer Phelps, badge 1247.